Hello, beautiful people. So we're, 15 months into this strange new world that we found ourselves in. Right at the beginning, in the middle of March 2020, I was given an instruction by the universe, that I should not engage in any negativity. And so I stopped watching all news, listening to all news, and I was an avid radio listener at the time. And I stopped reading the papers, other than, the odd glance when I went into the supermarket. So any information that has come to me has just been, through hearsay. So the other day I heard that for the first time, for a long time, probably definitely living history, and I'm not sure whether that was in the UK or Europe or the Western world or the whole world, that the birth rate was less than the death rate. So the death rate exceeded the birth rate. And I don't think this had anything to do with people dying from COVID. I think this was genuinely that there were less births in the last year, which isn't really surprising when we take into consideration the current fertility statistics. That male sperm counts have dropped by 50% in the last 40 years. And I heard the other day that 1 in 4 young women in America now have polycystic ovary syndrome, which has a tendency to make women infertile. Not always, but often. So I used to be an environmental activist. I was very active in waste plastics. I used to go on expeditions looking at microplastics in the sea and in canals and rivers. And I was very active in Extinction Rebellion, which is all about climate change and carbon dioxide in the air. So after I got this message about not engaging in negativity, first of all, I started by just not listening to the news anymore, not engaging in conversations about the virus. But bit by bit, I started to wonder about engaging in conversations about the environment, because my experience was that whenever there was a conversation about the environment, it was always very heated. People were very upset, very angry, understandably. Now, I'd already by then started to appreciate that I wanted to raise my vibration. And that when I engaged in these conversations about the environment, that the complaining, the anger, this was not raising my vibration. And so one day I thought, I need to stop engaging in this stuff. I need to stop giving the problems my attention. However, we can't deny that there are issues. I hear all sorts of things. I listen a lot to Zach Bush. He's on YouTube and I highly recommend him. So I've heard that the oceans are unlikely to sustain this planet for more than another 10 years. We've heard that we only have 60 years of harvests remaining. I think it's something like 30 years of human fertility or something like that. So, it's like what's going to come first? What's going to hit us first? And I think it is important to know these stats and to know what the situation is, because it helps us to make individual life choices. It helps us, for me, it's like, okay, I need to buy more organic food as much as I can, lessen my environmental footprint. I don't eat fish anymore. I had already given up eating fish when I discovered how much microplastics it had in it and toxins. And so keeping an awareness of the environmental situation and doing whatever I can to minimise my own impact. And we all have an impact. We can't help it. Particularly in the West. And to focus on sustainable alternatives. So my thing is hemp. Hemp is the most incredible crop and can replace so many of the things that we use fossil fuels for. And if you go into my YouTube channel, you'll find a little video on all the uses of hemp. Which reminds me, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. And so so it's about being proactive in what we can do to minimise the environmental impact, but not to engage in the it's all awful and the government ought to be doing something and it's terrible and I'm frightened and I'm scared and I'm angry and we need to go and shout and scream about it. Personally, I don't think that's raising our vibration. So raising our vibration for me is coming out on a beautiful day like this and just feeling the sun on my skin and the cool breeze on my arms and listening to the birds and the sheep. And coming from my heart, coming from a place of joy and gratitude from my heart. Because the more of us that can do that and sustain it, then the more we will raise the collective vibration. So we do need to innovate and come up with amazing creative solutions and new ways of living that are less toxic and more loving to the planet and to ourselves. But personally, I don't believe it helps to get really angry and upset about it all. Okay, I'll leave you with that one. I love you all. I'll talk to you again soon.